Are you like most people? At times you may have a question for your doctor, but you can't get to him or her, so that you may ask your question. Good news, your worries are over, because the Mount Pilgrim Missionary Baptist Church, in partnership with Caldwell UNC Health Care, bring to you Let's Talk to the Doctor, a 15-minute talk with real doctors from the Caldwell UNC Health Care, designed to educate and answer questions that are a concern in our community. Let's not forget, our communities perish for the lack of knowledge.
Well, good day, and what a great day it is, and I want to welcome you to our talk with the doctors this morning, and I am just so pleased to let you know that we have Dr. Lowery from Caldwell UNC Health Care here in Lenore. We've been here before, and just so excited to have Dr. Lowery again. And I know, Doctor, that your time is very limited, so we're not going to prolong this long, but I just want to let everybody know that I'm excited just to have you back with us, and how we are indulging on your day, and how you just take the time out today to come with us and answer questions, and let's just have a talk about the hospital, about the medical part of just whatever lays on our heart. We can talk about golf. Do you play golf?
I have tried to hit a golf ball before, not very well. I think it's more like excavating dirt when I swing the club.
Okay, we're going to get right into this medical discussion. What causes some people to get sick on the second shot as opposed to the first? And the reason that I asked that, Doc, I had my shot, the first one I had back in January, and I didn't feel anything. I had the second one Monday, and I didn't feel anything at the shot, but I got sick yesterday. And I've heard, and I've talked to some people, and I thought it was just a Pfizer, but I took the Moderna, and I got sick. So what causes the second shot?
Yeah, that's a great question. Like so many things with COVID, we don't entirely know. I think that though it's all related to the immune response, and the point of a vaccine is to stimulate your body to start making antibodies.
Yes.
So the first shot sort of maybe is kind of like it's like your alarm clock going off. It kind of wakes you up a little bit, but you're still laying there. Your immune system's just starting to get activated. So that second shot really activates the immune system. And when you feel bad, it's not that you're sick with COVID, it's that your immune system is activating. So in a way, feeling bad after a vaccine is a sign that it's working. Now, a lot of people do feel some ill effects after the vaccine, but a lot of people don't. I have a brother who's quite a bit older than I am, and he told me that he felt really bad after the first shot, and he felt fine after the second shot. So, but that's what it's from. I think your immune system really is starting to get turned on by that and activated with that second shot.
Okay. Now we have, well, I say we, the medical field has been approved with the Moderna and the Pfizer, and I think now the Johnson & Johnson shot is soon be coming to us. Will Caldwell or UNC need to take the same approach or prepare for the Johnson & Johnson the way that we did for the other two?
Yeah, we don't really know yet. The government really is in charge of rolling out the vaccines, and our understanding is that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine won't require the super low temperatures and the super low freezing, and it's a one-dose vaccine. But when exactly that will be available, how it will be allocated, and who gets it, we don't know yet. And that will all be decided at the state level.
You know, in our community, the African American community, a lot of people are very reluctant to taking this shot, and few of the pastors have tried to talk to our congregation and talk to our community and let them know that it's safe and that there's no harm in taking it. And I didn't tell them about the after effects because I just received after effects yesterday. But if these guys do not take that, or the people that are around, are they more vulnerable?
Yes. So the vaccine is safe, and I understand, I really do, that there is reluctance in the African American community in taking vaccines for very good reason. I mean, given history.
Yes.
And it's so sad that there's a historical precedent there. But I would say at this point, I looked up 507,000 Americans now have died from COVID, and that's more than all the Americans who died in World War II. And you know, in the Vietnam War, there were 58,000 Americans who died, so 10 times almost more Americans have died now from COVID in a 1-year period. So anybody who isn't vaccinated is still very, very susceptible to illness and death. And one thing that we're concerned about too are people who are vaccinated may be protected themselves, but there's some thought that they could still have a asymptomatic infection and spread that to others who haven't been vaccinated. We don't know that for sure, but that's a thought.
That leads into my next question, and if virus is the appropriate term for this, can that lay dormant in a person's system and they don't realize it, or maybe it gone to the doctor and the doctor didn't detect it?
No, it can't. It can't be dormant in your body for a long period of time. Like tuberculosis is it's a bacteria, and tuberculosis is well known for kind of going to sleep for years and years, sometimes decades, and then reactivating 40 years down the road. This is not the same way, but you can have the virus inoculating in your body. It hasn't developed symptoms yet, but it's getting ready to, and that can go on for several days. So you may not have any symptoms of infection, but the virus is there getting ready to activate.
Okay.
And that can last for several days.
Yeah. You know, our churches have been shut down. A lot of people are still doing online, whatever they do, we're doing outside. But as I think about it, a lot of my people have been vaccinated, particularly the senior people. If we were to go back, would we still be that much effective, or we still have that much virus in there where it could affect someone, even though wearing the mask?
Yeah, there are several concerns about that. And one is a lot of people have heard of variant strains of COVID. So we know.
You say variant?
Variant.
Okay.
Yeah, yes. And those are viruses that have mutated and developed slightly different properties than the plain old original COVID-19. And right now we know for certain that there's what's called a UK strain, because it originated in the United Kingdom, and a Brazilian strain, and a South African strain. And these are COVID-19 viruses that have developed mutations, most of them involving the spike on the wall of the virus. So far, we think that the treatments, including the vaccine, are protective against those variants. And it appears, from what we can tell so far, that they are. But the thing is, these variants have now started to show up in the United States.
Okay.
And the concern is that additional variant strains could develop over time, and that eventually one of them might be the vaccine may not be effective against a variant strain that develops. We just don't know for sure. Plus, the studies that were done with the vaccines were to show that prevention of symptomatic disease, but there's but it's still possible that somebody who's been vaccinated could have a low-grade virus, not enough to cause them to be sick themselves, but that's something that they could spread to others. So even though people are getting vaccinated, there are enough people out there who aren't vaccinated, and because of these other concerns that we just don't have answers to yet, the wise action, I'm sorry, my ringtone's going off here. So the wise action is to still wear a mask and use social distancing, and we are distanced here, and just want to bring that up. We don't have masks on because it's hard to talk, but we've distanced, and I've been vaccinated, and I also had COVID a couple months ago, so I have a bunch of antibodies running around right now.
So has the variant virus reached the United States yet, and have we noticed that the Pfizer or the Moderna is not effective, or what?
Yeah, so variant strains have been identified in the United States, and all three of the strains I mentioned, UK, South African, and Brazilian strains, have all been identified in the United States, and it's known that there are probably other strains out there as well. The data so far would be that the vaccines are all effective against those strains. So the concern is, though, that if strains have developed that have mutations in them, that could continue to happen, and potentially there could be a variant at some point in time that is not susceptible to the vaccine. That is not the case right now, as far as we can tell. The vaccine is very effective. The good news is, with these vaccines, the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccine, they're based on what's called messenger RNA technology, which makes it very easy for scientists to go back in and kind of tweak the vaccine so that it's effective against a strain once that strain's identified, if that became an issue.
After I have taken my second shot, and I'm 6 months into it, or I'm a year into it, is this going to be a continuous thing or an annual thing for me to get a shot, whether it be Pfizer, Moderna, or?
Well, I hate to say we don't know yet, but we don't know. And so what typically happens is that after enough people are vaccinated, the scientists who are studying this will take a group of people, and they'll measure antibody levels of those people. And if they see that 6 months after, say 40,000 people, 6 months after they've all been vaccinated, they still have very high antibody levels, and they haven't been getting sick with infections, they'll know that it's good for 6 months, then 9 months out, and a year out. But if they find that after, say, 6 months that the antibody levels are really starting to fall, then they may recognize that, like the flu shot, it's something that needs to be given every year. So we just don't know the answer to that yet.
This came up, I think someone and I were discussing this at the place where I got my shot, and we were talking about, I've got my first shot, and God forbid I have a medical problem, have a heart attack or a stroke or something of that nature. Would you still give me my second, not you, but would I still need to take that second shot, or how close or how far away? I'm hospitalized, I'm in the hospital.
Yes, good question. So yes, you would need to get the second shot, but it doesn't have to be given exactly 21 days or 28 days after the first shot. There's some variance there. So if somebody were in the hospital with an illness, say pneumonia or heart attack, we wouldn't want to give them a shot when they're already sick. We'd wait a few days for them to recover, but we wouldn't want to delay much in giving them that shot.
And it would serve the same thing if I had an underlying illness going in or coming to get my shot. Am I supposed to report that or say that to the people? I know they will ask you if you've been near someone with the COVID or have you had symptoms, but they don't ask about other medical issues.
No, it just, those would be, and obviously if you have heart disease and you're having chest pain or symptoms at the time you come in to get your vaccine,
yeah,
you should let the person know. But if you're feeling fine, there's no need to know that. That's just all the more reason that you need to be vaccinated.
Oh, okay. I was there on Monday and it just struck me. They have a big sign there that says, I think it was 13,000, maybe 600 people that have been vaccinated in Caldwell. I'm thinking it's called maybe Lenore or just Caldwell County. And I thought that was amazing.
It is.
Because our population is like 23,000 in Lenore and Caldwell. So and just Caldwell, I think it's 18,000.
82,000.
80 what am I talking about? 18,000.
Right. So that's actually good news. So as of yesterday, there have now been over 14,000 people vaccinated.
Yeah.
And then probably close to 9,000 people in Caldwell County have had COVID.
Yeah.
And then an unknown number of residents have had COVID infections that either just didn't get tested or had asymptomatic infections.
Yeah.
So when you add all that up, there probably are somewhere around maybe a third to a half of the population that have antibodies.
Yeah.
And for one reason or another, and that's getting to the point where we start talking about what we call herd immunity.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I see our time is coming to a close, and I guess we can just keep on talking about this. But I just got one that has just dawned on me. After I've received my shots, and I have, should I still wear my mask at all times, or can I just be a little lax and say, well, I don't have to wear the mask now?
I think of it as being a fighter pilot in the military and wearing a parachute.
Okay.
If they sent you up into combat without a parachute, you'd be pretty worried. If you were given a parachute to wear and you knew there was a good chance that you were going to get shot down, you'd put the parachute on, but you'd still be very cautious and take all the precautions. And it's kind of the same thing. Even though you're vaccinated, even though someone is vaccinated fully, it's still advised and best to take all the precautions we've still been taking, not even for one's own protection, but to protect other people.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the thing of protecting other people as well. I go to Walmart regular. I guess I'm one of Walmart's favorite patrons. And about 95% of the people I see wearing masks. I mean, in the beginning, you'd go and a lot of people wouldn't, but I think people now have just come to their senses. Hey, look, I'm not only saving mine, but by wearing it, I'm helping somebody else.
Right.
So a lot of people have just caught on to it and are wearing their masks. So that's a good thing.
It is, definitely.
Well, listen, as I said before, and Douglas gets me like this a lot when I'm preaching. I'll say, well, I'm done. It's time for me to come in now. And then about 10 minutes later, he'd be telling me the same thing. Come on, Daddy, time is up. So I thank you so very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come here and to answer questions. And we just have a general conversation about the health of our community and the health of our people. And I'm so glad that you are part of Caldwell UNC and all the doctors are into. Deborah, thank you so very much for being just active in all that you do and initiated this and started this ball rolling with the hospital. So thank you so very much. Deborah Ashley Smith is here with us. I don't know if she wanted to be recognized, but I can't help but to recognize her. But thank you so much for being here. Dr. Lowery,
yes, sir.
Thank you, and may God bless you. we're just glad to have a doctor such as your caliber here in Caldwell.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank
It's a
you.
pleasure to be here as always.
Thank you, sir.
What an informative and educational segment. Reverend Perkins and the Mount Pilgrim Media Ministry want to thank you for tuning in. We are located at 539 Willow Street in Lenoir, North Carolina. Please visit. We would love to see you. Join us every Thursday, right here at 7 p.m. with another segment of Let's Talk to the Doctor. Be blessed. And we look forward to seeing you next week. We would like to thank our partners, Caldwell UNC Health Care. As we are doing good in the neighborhood, please hit your share button at this time.